Just being disciplined is not enough. I'm Cole. This is my journey of becoming a professional soccer player, building a bootstrap business, and showing my path to self-mastery. I make these videos to help people create their ideal life. Today's video is focused on trying to learn and get better versus trying to just get something done. First, I would like to define each of these categories, starting with getting things done. A lot of people nowadays talk about discipline and trying to get as much in as possible. All they're worried about is checking a box at the end of the day saying that they did the work. They're not experimenting with new processes and different ways to leverage their time. A really good example for this is during training for a sport. In the training session, there's practice and there's also deliberate practice. What I'm talking about is mainly just practicing, which you're doing the reps just to get repetition, not really focusing that much, but just to get the numbers in. Although repetition is very important to build the skill, it's not everything that's needed to become a master. Another mindset is the learner. They're constantly trying to get better and think of new ways to get more out of their time. This may mean progressing to harder training drills, making sure that they're prepared for any situation that comes up. I think a good mindset for this is to make training so hard that the game is super easy. In terms of soccer, I would like my training to be so hard that the games seem easy in comparison. A lot of people talk about how discipline is super important to reach the top. And although I agree, just doing the work without trying to analyze what you're doing and trying to get better will not allow you to reach the top. On paper, it's going to look like you're doing a lot of work and doing everything that should get you to the top, but different stages of life require different training methods, and you're not going to know all the training methods available. You may learn something new from a friend, coach, or online and be able to implement that into your training, but if you're just focusing on doing the work and never looking out for how to improve, you're never going to find that. In order to find these improvements in your system, you have to be willing to experiment. A good example of this is me with my YouTube channel. When I started out the channel, I was very against doing short form content as I thought it was against what I was trying to show. It took me about 70 days and very little success on my YouTube channel to finally cave in and try short form content. I was already making these montages in my videos, but I decided to take them out and put them in their own separate short, posting 2 times a day instead of 1. The success that I've had from trying to not be fixed in my ideals on how to do something and then experimenting with something that I thought wouldn't be good for me or the content that I'm trying to reach out to has given me tremendous success. I'm going to put a photo up right now of my YouTube statistics for the last 28 days. As you can see, I have 14K views and over 140,000% growth from the previous 28 days. Now, I will say that shorts views are nowhere near the same as long form content views, but my long form content has also had a significant boost in its viewership. Especially recently, my videos have been getting a lot more consistent views. Although I cannot pinpoint the reason for this success completely, I think it is reasonable to conclude that my short form content suggesting my long form videos and the success around my short form content has helped my long form videos grow to a greater viewer base, getting more views in the past 5 days than I had across my entire channel. Now, this isn't the first time I've experimented with different things on YouTube. If you look back at my videos, you'll see some of them have certain thumbnails and different titles. Not every experiment that you're going to run is going to have success. The example of my YouTube, I tried many different things and a lot of them didn't change the YouTube at all, and some of them probably made it worse. There was a streak where I had, I think, 10 videos with 0 views. It's okay to expect an initial dip in performance once you try something new, especially if you have an established brand, because people are used to your old content or old version of yourself and not the new version or product that you're trying to transition into. Knowing that experimenting may have an initial dip has to make you conscious about what shots you're willing to take. If you do find success in certain areas, for me, short form content, I'm going to continue to try to exploit that as much as I can, as well as experimenting with different types in different formats that could be more appealing to the user. In your life and in your path, you have to see what experiments are worth taking in order for you to grow. Not every idea that you have is worth exploring. You have to think which experiments are likely to have the most explosive growth and then take shots on those. A lot of them are going to fail and not work out, but that's okay. You're not going or aiming to be perfect. You're just aiming to be better. The moment that you stop trying to improve is the moment you start falling behind. Being too afraid of failure and too afraid to lose what you already have is going to make it more likely to come true. If you're constantly worrying about something not working out and trying to make it exactly the way it was, you're likely to fail. Things change and evolve over time. This could be people, landscape, business, or football. Failure to adapt and try different things will guarantee that you fail. I think this is most evident in business, as there have been giant corporations that have risen to the top and then fallen. As of right now, a lot of the biggest companies today are all tech companies, but they weren't even created 50 years ago. Through innovation, experimenting, and trying something new, these companies have been able to rise to the top. But in order for you to sustain being at the top, you have to be able to not lose that mindset. It's really hard to not want to exploit what you already have, but if your goal is to continually be at the top and continually push to new heights, you're gonna have to be willing to lose on some experiments. Always playing it safe is a risk in itself. Now, I want to leave you with the point that just getting the work done on some days is needed, but it's important to not let this happen for too many days. There will be bad days. That's just something that we're going to have to accept. Knowing that there are going to be bad days and hard times coming up, we have to prepare ourselves to do what's necessary in the moment. If you wake up and you feel like shit, or you get to the gym and your body feels really tight, tense, and not very weak, on those days, it's important to still do the work, whatever that work is for you, whether it's working on a business or getting the reps in at the gym, even if it's at a lower standard that you want. Again, you should make sure that this isn't happening too often, because then your standard will lower. But I've found on these bad days is the biggest risk for me to fall into my bad habits. Knowing this, I have to prepare myself to get over that hump. Pushing yourself in the hardest moments is very important. It sets precedent for all the work that you're doing. If you can push yourself in the hardest environments and the hardest of times, then everything else will become easier. These easy times where going to the gym or doing work is easy and fun and second nature is where you have to be really pushing yourself and experimenting with new things to reach even greater heights. You should constantly be trying to raise the standard that you're setting for yourself every single day. Not everything is going to be perfect and work out, but that's okay. Life is an experiment in itself. I hope you got some value from the video, and thank you for watching.